Okay, are we good? All right, it is 6 o'clock. Let's get started. Thank you, everybody who is watching this on our Zoom live. Thank you to those who will be looking at the recording later. My name is Paul Pugmire. I'm the Executive Director of the First Tee Utah chapter. And so this is our training to talk about what we will need to be doing as we come into a now COVID world. I was going to say post-COVID. That's kind of the whole idea. It's not post-COVID. It's a COVID world. But we're going to be doing programming. Our programming shut down on March 10th, I believe, sometime in early mid-March. And so it's been quite a while. And I'm really looking forward to getting programming going again. I'm really looking forward to seeing the kids again. Much of what we'll be talking about here is pretty self-explanatory and should be very familiar to all of you. We will be talking about cleanliness and sanitation. We will be talking about social distancing. We will be talking about things that have been talked about 1,000 times in 1,000 other situations. All of that stuff that you've been hearing about and reading about and experiencing, it all applies to us. We're just going to talk about a few specific details of how it applies to putting on a First Tee program with a group of kids and a small group of coaches, because we want to keep the coaches safe as well. Couple of things to note here. Obviously, I'm coming to you from our chapter office here in Salt Lake City. But to all of you who are on right now, please feel free to send us questions, speak up. Beth Harmon is running the camera phone, running the camera. Celeste Green is here with us. She's monitoring this on her computer. If you want to use the chat function to send a question, please feel free to do so. Feel free to interrupt at any time. We want to make sure your questions are asked. So first here, let's start with this. The board approved a restart plan that we came up with together here at the chapter in consultation with our national office and of course in consultation with pretty standard reference documents that you would expect, documents from the CDC, documents from the World Golf Foundation that come through our headquarters, and of course the state of Utah guidance. We referred to all of those documents. We came up with a restart plan, and First Tee Utah, we will be allowing programming to restart beginning next Monday, the 22nd of June. Now, let me talk about that for a quick minute. We've got 14 program locations here in Utah and a few others that we're working with to get started this year. Not everybody will be starting back this year. Some of the program locations have already decided not to do this program, or perhaps a junior program, or perhaps any programming this year. The situation is different at each of the program locations. We understand that, and we want to respect and work with you to do what is best for your program location. So some won't be doing any programming in 2021. That's totally fine. We'll look forward to, or excuse me, in 2020. That's totally fine. We'll look forward to 2021 and working with you again come next year. Some of the program locations have already decided that it won't work for them in the spring and summer, and they're going to fire it up in the fall. Great. We'll look forward to doing that. A few of you will be starting later in the summer, and a smaller group will be starting here in the next few weeks. Whatever your situation, it's really great. We want to work with you and help you in every way we can. In terms of the help that we'll be giving you from the chapter office here, that ends up being the large part of what we'll be talking about here for the next few minutes, because we want to make sure that you are successful. And so our commitment to you is that we will make sure you have the resources you need for your program to be successful. We've already started raising money to support this. We are continuing to do that. We will make sure that you have the resources you need for your program to be successful. So the board approved programming to start the week of Monday, July 22nd. June 22nd. I must have said something different.
You said July.
I said July. Okay. The programming will start June 22nd, next Monday, or any time thereafter. And if it's necessary for you, if you need additional coaches, we will help you recruit them. We will make sure that people are properly paid so that you have the coaches that you need. We will provide training to make sure that people are properly trained. we are doing this coach training tonight, here is a big piece of this. You will need PPE. You've heard about this in 100 other situations, personal protective equipment. It comes down to masks and sanitizer primarily. We'll make sure you have it. We'll make sure that everything that you need, you have. And then another really big item. One of the policies that we will ask you to work with us on and to honor is that there will be no shared equipment among the kids. In other words, people aren't touching things that other folks have touched. That means that kids who need clubs will need to have their own. This will be a big lift. Our commitment to you is that we will help you provide this equipment to any kid who needs it. This is the club library. Perhaps you've heard about the club library. Some of the locations are doing it, others are not. We have it here at the chapter office. The club library works like the library, the county library, or the library at the school, where you check out a book. Only in this case, you check out clubs. We will make sure that you have club library clubs for your kids who need them. And they can check them out. And as long as they're in the program, they can use them, take them home, treat them as their own. In fact, we want the kids to take clubs home if they're checking them out of the library. We want the kids to learn the responsibility of taking care of their equipment. This is a really effective method to help the kids learn responsibility, one of our basic 9 core values, so that the kids know that it's not mom's job to get me my clubs. It's my job. It's my job to make sure I've got balls and tees and ball markers. That's my job. This is my responsibility. And so we want kids to have their own clubs. We always have, but we've been pretty lax in the past about sharing clubs, especially in the clinic setting. No more. No more sharing of clubs. So whatever clubs you need, you let us know. We will make sure that you have the clubs that you need. Only online registration. Now, it is our policy. We never turn a kid away. So if a kid shows up and wants to join, let him join. But in terms of the registration, we've been moving away from paper registrations for years. But at this point now, we're just cutting that off. Everything needs to be done online. It's all on our website. Of course, contact me or Celeste. It's kind of funny I'd say me because I'll just ask Celeste to take care of it. But contact us here at the chapter office. Celeste will get you all fixed up and we'll get your online registration all taken care of. But let's just be clear about that. Online registration only. When a parent goes online to register their kids, there will be information there as a part of the registration where the parents will understand what the program is here and where they understand what the safety protocols are that we're following. So we will take an assertive role in communicating with the parents. We will never try to supplant you as the primary contact with the parents. Think of us as being in a supporting role to you, but we will be making sure that parents are communicated with and that they have that information, including we will ask them to come ready with their own personal supplies, sunscreen, and have it on, water, have it ready, hats, that they have all this stuff. We provided this stuff in the past. We're not going to be doing that anymore. We will be asking the parents to make sure that the kids have sunscreen, the kids have water, the kids have a hat. We will be communicating that when we sign up. This will be more of a parent's responsibility. Next, really big item. It has always been an issue that classes can get too big. And let me tell you, the difference between 24 and 25 is a lot more than 1. And so if 24 is the magic number in all my experience, you get above 24 and things just fall off a cliff. Things always have worked better at 16. Well, as it turns out, the state of Utah really got our vibes on that one. And they established group sizes of 20 as being acceptable in a broad variety of situations. And we fall into those. And so 16 kids and 4 coaches equals 20. You can check my math. That gives us 4 adults for 16 kids. It gives us a 4-to-1 ratio, which is our ideal ratio. And we will be limiting class size to 16. Now there's an asterisk on that. Let me address that. in some of your situations, and again, we recognize that all the situations are different. We want to work with you on all of them. In some of the situations, you have a larger group for a particular class, and then you divide them up into smaller groups. So that's totally fine. We want the groups to be no larger than 16. So that when we combine that with 4 adult coaches, we stay within 20 as a group size. So that's something to be aware of, please. Here's a big one that will surprise nobody. No physical contact with the kids. Now, this has always been a bad idea in terms of our child safety protocols, and something we've always discouraged. But there's been a little bit of gray area in terms of putting our hands on a child to teach them, say, a proper hip rotation or a hand position or something like that. We need not to do that. No physical contact with the kids or among the kids. I'll come back to the among the kids here in a moment. But no physical contact. Use your best judgment. Model for them. Describe for them. Help them learn the proper motions. But again, no physical contact with the child. We talked about no touching of another's equipment, but I do want to go into that just a little bit more. That includes our activity equipment. It includes cones, hula hoops, ropes, all the other things that are involved. We'll just let those be and not touch them amongst the participants. And having said that, it will be the coach's job then to sanitize them after each use and to store them properly so that these things are safe for the kids. Here's one that I expect some of you to not like. We're going to ask each of you as the coaches to wear masks when you are within 6 feet of the kids, when you are getting in close to teach the kids. Use good judgment on that, guys. This is one of our first key values anyway. Now is the time to apply that. When you're in close with the kids, have a mask around your neck or however that works, pull it up, put it on when you're in close with the kids. I know they're uncomfortable. I know they're annoying. I've got masks in my car. I wear them most of the time that I should. You guys know the drill. Wear a mask when you're in close in a teaching situation with the kid. You can take it off when you back away. But we're asking you as coaches to set that example. And let me note this. It is an activity, an item of respect for others. We all know the purpose of the mask. It's not to protect you, it's to protect others. It is an item of respect. This is, again, one of our core values. We will respect others by wearing a mask when we're within 6 feet, when we get in close. Go with me on this, please. Thank you, guys. We will have hand sanitizer available at all classes. And this is something the chapter will provide. We're securing that. We'll get it to you. We'll make sure that you have all the supplies and the equipment you need. And use the hand sanitizer. Be an example to the kids. Encourage the kids to use it. And we'll just have it there all the time. We will provide for you an alcohol water mix in spray bottles that you can use to sanitize the equipment. This is something that was developed in consultation with the Salt Lake Health Department by Christian Scott, the head pro and owner here, our host here at Golf the Round. And Christian developed this alcohol water mix, put it in a sprayer. He puts it in a weed sprayer. We're just going to give you little spray bottles. But anyway, it works really well to provide a sanitizing coating on things. We'll make sure that you have that. Let me talk about setting up our classes. This is a little bit of a no-brainer and pretty much what we're doing anyway. Had a conversation about all this with Cody Lopez, the great pro at Oker Hills and one of our terrific coaches here at First Tee Utah. And he said, Paul, we always have 6 foot spacing. Those kids are swinging weapons. We don't want them hitting each other. Well, Cody's right. We always have 6 feet spacing. What we're asking you to do here in setting up your stations, your activity stations and your hitting stations is just be extra vigilant about 6 feet, be extra cognizant of keeping spacing, and mark things out on the ground so that the kids understand, and so parents can see that we are maintaining distancing and that we are being respectful to one another and making sure that this is safe. In that context, let me talk to you a little bit about the warm-ups that you'll be doing as part of your programming. My most favorite go-to default warm-up is over, under, right, left. I love it when you get the medicine balls or something heavy or something funky that the kids think is funny, and they pass it. They form a line and they pass it. They go over and the kid takes it over and goes under, and then they go right, and then they go left, and they pass it through the line, and the kid at the back of the line runs to the front of the line, and they keep moving this ball or object over, under, right, left, and look at all that body movement. They're stretching and warming up. They're also standing too close. They're also handing some equipment to each other. My favorite warm-up exercise is now off the table. Bummer for me, huh? But we're going to keep these kids safe. And so as you are devising all of your activities, your warm-up activities, the games that you play with the kids, whatever it is, be cognizant of spacing and touching. And the answer is 6 feet and no. So I don't get to do over, under, right, left, whatever it is you like that violates 6 feet and touching, shared touching. I'm sorry. We can't do that, at least for now. Maybe we'll be able to do it later another time. Let me take a little quick break here. Celeste, Beth, are we getting any questions? Anybody? Okay, great. I'll keep going. Here is another item I want you all to be aware of in the context of no touching. Okay. That means no handshakes. This goes against everything I know about first tee. This is the most anti-golf thing in the world. This is so annoying to me and so hard to break out of for me. But we all know this, okay? Here's our challenge to myself and my challenge to you. Let's make this fun for the kids. When we get the class together, one of the first things we do, let's decide as a class and engage the kids with this and ask them what they want to do in the place of handshaking. Who knows what they'll come up with? It could be a foot tap. Elbows, yeah, we know that. Fist bumps, blah, blah, blah. Bowing, okay. I used to live in Japan. I think bowing is kind of makes good sense. But whatever it is, engage the kids. Get them involved. Let each class, let each group come up with its own thing of what they will do to show respect and encouragement and kindness and courtesy to one another in the place of handshaking. And when they come up with something fun, let me know. I'm really curious to see what these kids come up with. And let's make it a fun thing for the kids. I encourage you to have balls set out and ready to hit when the kids arrive. And those of you who have heard me do a training before, this won't be new to you. This is a little soapbox of mine. But don't make kids wait. Don't make them stand around. But especially now, because in setting them up, you can establish distancing. And if you put little marks on the ground somehow with cones or ropes or whatever you got, you can establish walking patterns. But when the kids arrive, let's get them hitting balls right away. And that will encourage kids to come early. If they know, if they show up 5, 10, 15 minutes early, they get to hit some balls, they will show up early, and your classes will start on time with more kids there on time. But let's have balls ready for the kids to hit when they arrive. Here's a fun little thing some of you won't like. I'm not too fond of it myself. But we're going to have to say no carts. The reality is when you're in a golf cart and you're ferrying kids around, they start piling in there and piling on. We've done that in the past. There is no doubt. We've done a lot of it. Not now. So plan out what you can do with walking. Don't use carts. I think that covers what we've got going on for our programming and how we're going to operate it. Unless any questions or comments, Celeste, Beth, anything? We're good still? Okay. There is one other topic that I want to talk with you about and let you know what's coming down and invite you to be a part of it as you wish. In response to the death of George Floyd and those who preceded him, perhaps you've seen some of the social media from First Tee generally in the nation. Perhaps you've seen our social media here at First Tee Utah. One of the things we have been puzzling over is what can we do? What is in our reach? And here's something that I am deeply proud of, grateful for, feel honored to be a part of the First Tee, because at First Tee, we have taught diversity from the get-go. For years, diversity, training, inclusion, equality have been a part of First Tee curriculum. It's a part of the First Tee way of living. This is a First Teeism. This is who we are. But that curriculum has always been for the older kids and the most accomplished of the kids. Diversity curriculum in the First Tee as it now is constituted is only found in the Eagle curriculum. The Eagle curriculum, older, more accomplished kids. Let me give it a little perspective here locally. Last year in the state of Utah, we had around 650 kids in our green grass program. We had 3 in our Eagle program. 3 of these kids received diversity content. They were older, more accomplished, but there was only 3. At First Tee Utah, we will now be including diversity content for all of our kids at the beginning and throughout the program. We will get to more kids earlier to talk about and to fight against the development of any racist attitudes or thinking. This is something we can do. Now, here's the invitation to you. We made this presentation as a part of the national First Tee Zoom meeting that took place last week among coaches and executives from around the country. And we made this presentation saying this is what we'll be doing at First Tee Utah. I was gratified and surprised at the reaction that we got out of it. It was universal support and interest for being a part of it. As a result, we will be leading a nationwide collaboration of First Tee people to figure out exactly how we teach diversity to a 7-year-old. We already know how to do it to a 15-year-old. It's going to be a different conversation with a 7-year-old. It's going to be different with a 10-year-old. We're going to figure that out. And starting next week, we will be doing a series of Zoom meetings with this national group that is starting to come together to discuss this and to figure it out. We invite you to be a part of this if you are interested. And if you are interested, just ping me, text me, email me, whatever. Love to have your input. Love to have you be a part of this. We'd love to learn from you as we figure out how to do this to help our kids get the tools they need in this world they're growing up in. We're going to make it a better place in a lot of ways. This is one of them. So let me know if you're interested on that, and stand by, because when we get this process completed, we're going to be bringing you back some more information to have available to you in your classes. All right. Thank you so much. Let me finish by saying this again. You probably heard me say it. I'll say it 100 more times. You are the most important part of the First Tee network. The coaches are the narrow point of the hourglass. All of the content development, all of the administration, all of the organization, all of the marketing, all of the fundraising, all of everything that goes into making the First Tee happen flows to you. From you flows all of the impact on the kids, all of the improved lives, all of the education, all of the benefits that go to these kids. It all goes through and from you. You are the most important part of everything we do. I sit at your feet unworthy and I am unspeakably grateful for each of you and all that you do. Please contact me with any questions you have. We are going to do everything we can for your success. Thank you so much for everything you do.